Hey, I'm Troops, welcome back to the Litanah Army. I'm Lit, and this is Fortnite Save the World. And what I wanted to talk about today is the post that we put on there a couple of days ago. Now, some of you will have seen this. I'll put a link to it down below in case you want to read it in full. But just to give you a brief outline of it, I actually put a post on Reddit a couple of days ago just saying that Epic needs to reconnect with the Save the World community. I did open the post saying, that I do love Fortnite Save the World. I'm not bashing on them or anything like that. It probably seems like we all are sometimes, and I know that the guys work hard on the game, but there are some things that genuinely concern me on there. Some of the bullet points that I put on, just to make this a bit of a summary of it, I said that there's less dev vlogs than what we used to get. So we used to get these development vlogs like every month, sometimes even more frequent than that. Sometimes you'd get more together, but it was where the actual devs sat in front of a camera and spoke to us about the plans for Fortnite Save the World. I was a little bit worried, the fact that we're not seeing them anymore. As a community member and someone who's been playing the game a long time, it does seem like, for me, not seeing those is like a company that's backing away from the game a little bit. But that means, the community's not always been the best. Sometimes we can be hostile, myself included in that, especially when we're frustrated and we're really passionate about the game. But I think because of that, they've kind of backed away as well. And I think we're kind of driving a wedge between us and the community at the same time. Us and the developers, at the same time. The only thing with that is less dev vlogs, kind of shutting up shops. The worst thing that you can do in a game like this when it's all about communication, which is what this post was all about. I've also put on there, that we've got fewer community contacts. I put what happened to John and Melissa and co. They're two people that I used to speak to on Twitter quite a lot. I know they're off doing other things. But again, I was a bit worried at the fact that there's fewer people, there's fewer staff members actually interacting with the Save the World community now. I also put on there, that we've still got no AFK solution or even showed, we've not even had a show of faith that it's going to be addressed, which was really frustrating. Global chat I've put is an absolute relic. I don't think that's ever coming back, and maybe it will do one day. I don't know if it's needed or not. If we can get the social tools back in, something like a guild setup or a clan setup or a camp setup, I thought would be a cool name for it in Fortnite Save the World, and that would, we wouldn't need global chat then. We could just have our own closed off little guild chats. That would be great. But again, we've had no sort of say on that, or no show of kind of action on that, or no, Epic Games have not come forward and actually said this is what we're going to do on that. And then the last point that I made on there as well is that there's no solid endgame content still. So you've had some players who've bought the game at launch, like I have. I'm not still max level because I do a lot of content creating as well. I've made hundreds of videos on Fortnite Save the World that can take up hours in a day. But there's a lot of people who bought the game at launch. Some people who I've spoke to, even on Reddit, or in our Discord, they've actually maxed characters out twice. So they've actually got 2 level 130 or level 131 characters, and they've got nothing to do with that other than make a third. And for a game that's been out this long, that's been around this long, it kind of beggars belief that there's nothing out there to kind of keep them players. All you're actually going to do as a team then is you're just going to be churning players all the time. The old players who've leveled them, 2 or 1 characters out are going to leave the game, and then a bunch of new guys are going to come in, go all the way up to the end, get the same problem, and then they're going to leave again. And you're just going to get churn all the time in the game. Now, when the game goes free to play, you're going to be heavy on the front end, where it's going to be a case of lots of new people coming into the game. But you know what? When they see that there's no end game at the minute, that could be a big flaw. And it's something that I saw when I first started playing Guild Wars 2. Someone corrected me on the Reddit thread and also in Discord and on one of my videos, saying that the end game now in Guild Wars 2 is great. But one of the big things that put me off Guild Wars 2 when it first launched was that there was no end game. You kind of got to the end and it was like, what do I do now? And it was like, oh, you just grind for mats now. And I was like, right, I'm done. And I just left the game there and then. But I think a lot of people are doing that with Fortnite Save the World, which is a shame because this game's so much more polished and it's got so much to give. And that's kind of what I was thinking. That's kind of what I was wanting. But what was cool about that is Magist actually sent a reply. So just have a quick look at this. Okay, now he's not replied to every little thing on there, but this is still quite a detailed reply, if you like. And he's responded to other people on this thread, which I thought was great. And one thing I was pushing on this thread is not enough communication, and to be fair to him, he's jumped on this and he's tried to answer as many questions as what he can. So in response to my thing about less dev vlogs, I've put there's not enough dev vlogs going off and that they've kind of dried up, and we used to love getting those. But I'm actually putting another one together. It definitely has been a while since one of these was done, and I'm super excited for this next one. It is some really awesome highlights and will be released at the end of the season. Now, okay, I would have liked that to be a little bit sooner, but you know what? Just the fact that we're getting one and it's on its way, that is great. But this is the kind of thing that needs to be communicated out to the community kind of early. How many times did I say communicate in that sentence? But that's the kind of thing that we need to see. We need to see things like this, and we just need to be let know sometimes, I think, as a community, what's going off in the background. That's the kind of thing we need to know you know, that there's a video coming with a devlog on it, and you know, we're going to get some more info. That's definitely needed. He also addressed as well my fewer community contacts. I've put what happened to John and Melissa and co. He's put myself and Dave the Book are the community contacts. Dave the Book's the guy over on the Discord. He's really active on there as well. He's put feel free to reach out. I have actually reached out often, you know, to Magist, sometimes in the Discord as well. I don't always get a response, but you know, thinking about it, the community is big. They're going to get a lot of, you know, they're going to get a lot of people sending them messages and things like that. It's a little bit frustrating sometimes because, you know, he's put further on in this thread, Magist, that, you know, if the post is constructive, you've got more of a chance of them getting back to you. And my posts, I think, are always constructive. I'm never offensive. I'm not offensive in this post. But, you know, it's one of those things where the community is massive, so getting a response sometimes can be tricky. I understand that. But if not, why not employ a couple more community managers? There's some great people in Reddit who are actually really active in the community already. It would be good to maybe get some of them involved and give them a little bit of information maybe. Do you know, I don't know how that would work, because there's the legal side of stuff and leaks happening and stuff like that. But still, it would be great for them to actually be able to have something, or use the YouTubers, use myself, Demon Joe, to actually get this kind of information out, you know, so that there's a devlog coming up, so that there's a you know, that we've got changes that are coming. That'd just be great for us to know, and then we could put it out there, because you know, we reach loads of people anyway. So I also put on there, as I was saying earlier, that there's no AFK solution or even a show to address it, and he's actually put on there, this is a tough one. We know it's a pain point. That is the understatement of the year, probably. But we have got better tracking in place to evaluate this on a wider scale. It's an ongoing discussion, but we have some ideas that we are branching out as we speak. I don't really know what that means. That's a little bit vague. For me, that could come in season 15. I would love to know what these ideas are, or even just a show of what they've talked about. A little bit would be great. Is it ideas from the community? Have they got new? Is it completely system based? Maybe that's why we don't know. But still, at least it's on the agenda, folks. You know, we can't say that they're not doing anything about it. Magister has categorically said that it's in the pipeline. So all we can really do for that is what we've done before, is just to wait for it. And the last bit on there is put as well is, I put there's no solid endgame content or even a twine biome and more. This for me is a huge one, as I said. I mean, I know there's lots of other things and everyone's going to have their own priorities, which I've put in the post, but no endgame content for a game that's been around this long, and for as many, you know, like max level players as they are, this is nuts. I remember David Dean being one of the first people to get to twine, and I used to watch his videos when I first started out, and there was hardly anyone there. You know, there weren't many people there. He was waiting for people to level up. But that was an age ago now. Do you know, that was ages ago. And now some of you guys who started playing after me, who's like a, you know, a day one player, loads of you guys have got double characters up there now at the top level. And we're kind of twiddling our thumbs a little bit, just grinding Evo mats slowly. And, you know, that's another thing on there. So that's an issue for me. But they put on there, we're building something that endgame players will definitely enjoy. Believe me when I say this one is tough. It won't land in Season 10 though. There's a lot of dev work that still needs going into it. Now, do you know what? I don't mind that being a surprise. But do you know, up until that moment there, up until that comment, I'd never heard anything about endgame coming to Fortnite Save the World. I'd never heard anything about twine, not even the fact that we're working on it. And this is where the dev vlogs are important, to kind of gel the community together. What I think is great is Demon Joe did a video earlier today as well, and he was mentioning this post in there. And I always love that. I love it when we kind of work a bit together, if you like, or we're mentioning each other in each other's videos. So like, you know, Demon Joe, Aiden Harris, you know, David Dean, Sly Gumby. I always miss them when I do it like this, but I always like it, you know, when with the kind of gel, you know, we're all gelling together, because it kind of brings the community together a bit more. Because, you know, I've got people that watch my channel that don't watch Demon Joe, and vice versa. You know, there's a load of people that say watch David Dean that don't watch my content, and I think when we kind of cross over like that, it's a powerful way of actually getting a message out on things like this. So, you know, it's a great video. I'll put the link in the description down below so you guys can go and check that out as well. So just another thing on there as well, one thing that I put in the post, again, you can read that down below as well, but it's kind of sad that the change wasn't made to introduce new hero types or to add diversity to builds. Now, what I was saying there, it was about the SMGs. The only reason that we really got SMGs is so that we can fit the wraps into the game later on, you know, so that they can get the BR wraps over, which is another reason, you know, that Epic Games can monetize Save the World. Now, I know they've got to do that. If Save the World's going to survive, it's got to be more healthily monetized, and anytime you try and do anything around money, the community kind of grabs pitchforks and starts saying, don't make it pay to win. Do you know, you're thinking more about money. And do you know what? To a degree, there's a little bit of that there. Don't get me wrong. Even I'm feeling a little bit like that at the minute. So the raps, the emotes and things like that are probably a way of coming away from the llama system that's in Fortnite Save the World and moving over more to a battle royale structure so that they can draw money in that way. And that's fine with me. Do you know, if it's free as well, free to play, and you can play both modes, it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense to streamline the revenue of both games into one kind of section and kind of make it that way. The game's got to survive, the game's got to get money because development's not free, I get that. I just thought it was a little bit of a shame that the SMGs had not come in with Save the World at heart. You know, it was more about having the money at heart rather than Save the World at heart. But Magis has actually put this is something we're doing. There wasn't any that launched with the system other than conversions that we did. You can expect them in the future. We're evaluating the impact that the change had on pistol-focused Outlanders, and we'll be releasing information as soon as we have details locked down. Now that's okay, you know, they're not saying that the SMG system's perfect, but again, it shows that because there was no heroes at launch with the SMG change, it just kind of shows it was a little bit rushed, and the focus again was on actually getting the raps out there rather than keeping Save the World at heart. I would rather have waited for that and, you know, had it as a proper, you know, a proper update, you know, something that came out all together and a bit more of a complete rollout, if you like. So have me, you know, give us a couple of SMG heroes, give us two that are different, you know, not the same one like reskinned. Give us two brand new SMG heroes, then release the mechanic, you know, so that we can see that at the same time, and then make the, you know, tidy up the Outlanders that way, you know, so make it so that look at which Outlanders are affected and which aren't. It doesn't really matter that Calamity is not affected by this. You would never use an SMG. For example, Gunblazer Southie, I'm going to review him later on. I think he could be great with an SMG build, for example, because he can phase shift and use the SMGs. That's pretty powerful. We've never had that before, so essentially the playstyle of him would be completely brand new. But it would have been nice to have that as a complete rollout, as a complete thing all done, whereas it kind of feels like just get the SMGs in the game so that we can put these wraps on it so that we can monetize it. And again, I don't hate on Epic for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, I get that Epic's a business. It's not just about quality of life in Fortnite Save the World. It is a lot to do with that, don't get me wrong, but a big part of it is going to be the money coming into Epic. But then the communication here between Epic Games and between Save the World players is absolutely essential. And I think a lot of this only came out because the post kind of flared up. It was so cool to see how many of you guys got behind this post. Were putting your views in really constructively as well. What was nice is a lot of the comments that are in this thread, which you can see, they're not aggressive towards Epic. People are really patient. The people that are kind of left in the game or are still playing the game are actually extremely patient. You know, a lot of you guys have been here every single season, or you've been here for the last 5 seasons, or we've had these promises before and we're still waiting patiently. And I think that kind of showed, and I think it was kind of nice that just after that, you know, there was another post from Magist as well. Let me just go and grab that. So this is what came out a little bit afterwards. It actually says on there, hey everyone, this is from Magist, SMG Changes and Twine Investigations. Hey everyone, we wanted to give everyone a heads up that the version 10.2 will be making the following hero perks buff SMGs in addition to pistols, Make It Count and Hip Shot. Note that if you slot 2 perks that apply the exact same buff to the SMG, Assault Damage, Make It Count for example, the buff will apply to all 3 weapon types, but the effects will not be doubled up on SMGs. So that's fair, we understand that, that's great. Additionally, we're currently investigating issues where the Twine reward increase may not be working properly. Thank you to everyone who's given feedback and raised awareness on this issue. Stay awesome, community. Now, that was one thing I was going to say. The post that I put earlier, that is one of the things that I put on there. I actually put a note on there that these big rewards that they promised, and this says significant rewards, significant increases, and on the video when I was reviewing it, we put increased actually comes up something like 11 times in the post for such a tiny increase. I don't know if there's been a mistake made, or I don't know if this is Epic backtracking, or if there is actually a problem there and they're going to fix it, but either way, at least it's getting addressed. And this came out just a few minutes, or a couple of hours, sorry, after I put up the post that we put up. So I think we've actually made a bit of a difference there. The community as a whole, should I say, not just here, I mean on Twitter, on Reddit, and everywhere, has made a big difference. So, do you know what? That's a big deal. They are listening, Epic are listening, and we've kind of got to give them that, which is great. I ended the communication with Magist with this at the top. I basically was just telling him, that he has got a lot of patience. We do appreciate the work that he's doing. down there as well in the comments, guys. Let Magist know that you appreciate the work that he is doing out there. The way that he left it was, he said, definitely appreciate the kind words, Litanah. It means a lot. That was just replying to a post that I sent to him, a message that I sent to him, really apologising for the big storm that I'd created over this. But, you know, he's quite keen to point out sometimes, you know, a lot of the changes don't come because the community is given a big outcry or because certain creators have given their input into a certain thing. You know, he says they're looking at things all the time. So, you know, if that's the case, then that's the case. But it was really nice, you know, to kind of end the day, if you like, on that day, because there was quite a lot going off. But it was kind of nice to end the day on a kind of positive with Magist, with the community manager there, and take it from there. I'm not always sure he's a great fan of mine. I know lots of people are in the loop with Magist, so, you know, like Alora, you know, Tic Tac, DemonJoe, a lot of them get like messages from Magist. I've never really got that, even though I've reached out to Magist quite a few times. I'm someone I just think I'm not on the VIP list, just because sometimes I can be really outspoken. Maybe that's why I'm not on there, I don't know. But guys, look, massive thanks for watching. If you're not part of the Litanah Army already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care now, guys.